Yeah, hello. Um, it's 2:12 a.m. May 17th. I just figured I'd come on and do a live. I had a few things I'd been thinking about and mulling over with the aspects of game stocking and some of the peripherals that they might do in tandem with, the V2K and the remote neural monitoring and the following and the street theater and that. As it goes, there's always a lot. It seems like a lot of hacking to your devices in concordance with their gang stalking. Now, I've explained this before how I've been able to somewhat keep them off of my computer. Regarding the passwords. Since they are able to, glean your passwords via remote neural monitoring with that, they don't actually have to hack your computers or whatever per se, since they're able to log into your account with a password because they've gotten the password directly from you personally, even though it's private in your head or wherever or whatever you keep it. Um, you know, maybe in some cases they're using keyloggers or whatever, but how I've been able to combat them gaining access to my accounts or whatever, which I've had to reacquire because they would gain access and then manipulate things or alter some of my Facebook posts and things like that. Now, what I've done is when you think you have a problem, when you think someone has hacked your your accounts or whatever, make sure that you don't have any viruses or keyloggers or whatever on your computer with an antivirus or anti-malware program, and then go into whatever account that is you want to try and block them out of. Use a random password generator. I just Google a random password generator and to create a strong password. And what you'll need to do, hi, how you doing, Mo Smith? What you'll have to do, it's pretty simple. It's simple to do. Bring up a random password generator and have the generator create a password, but don't look at it. Cover it up. Cover up the password with your thumb or a piece of paper or whatever, and right click on the password and select all and copy and paste that password into the login information where it asks for your password. Now you're not going to know your password. So they're not going to be able to use the remote neural monitoring to see what your password is in your head, which is what they've done. And how how they do, and then you just copy and paste it, and that way they can't use a keylogger because you're not inputting a password. You're not typing a password in. You don't have a password per se, as that you don't have to know your password. And the reason why I say this is because if you have your cell phone and you have two-step authentication, so you don't have to know your password using two-step authentication, because they'll send you a text asking if it's you, and then you can get back in that way. And you don't have to know your passwords. You don't ever have to know your password, and that way they can't gain access to your password because you don't know your password. They can't use a keylogger because you're not keylogging it in, you're not logging in, you're not typing it in. And it works. I've been using it, doing it that way. And if somehow they ever get in again, you can just follow those steps again, and it'll be a while before they can get in again, because you just reset it again and do it again. I've done that with my Google. I haven't had trouble with my Google. I've done that with my Facebook, and other things that I do. Anything that I do online, I won't create a password. I'll let the random password generator create it, and I won't even look at it. I won't know what it is. But then you save it to Google, and then turn your computer off and start it again, so that password isn't saved in your notepad, and then you restart it and let Google handle it. So, and the good thing about that is should your password, if someone gains access to your account after that, you have basically covered yourself. You've covered your ass, because it's being controlled, and managed by Google, by your Google account, so that to get it, they would have to hack Google, to hack your Google account, and then get in and get all your passwords. So you don't know it. If you don't know it, they can't steal it from you. Don't write it down. Don't save it. You don't need it, because with two-step authentication, they'll send you a text, and you say, yeah, this is me, and then it'll get you back in. And when it asks you again, when you're, if you've had trouble and you're getting in there, it'll ask you if you want to update your password. Just skip that, and you can go right in, and it'll have your password, and save it, and you don't know it, so nobody can steal it. They can't get you with a keylogger. They can't use the remote neural monitoring to access your memory of it, because you don't have one. And that's just something I've been doing that seems to work. Hi, Burger Boy. How are you today? And that's just something that I've been doing that has helped me maintain my account and not have an issue getting into it when they change your password, which they'd done before. That's why I ended up doing it, because it was happening like every few days. Every time I tried to put a new password in, they were logging in and changing it. And that was a couple years ago, when they actually hacked my computer and crashed it. They crashed my entire computer. Now, as far as any other way to get around that, you don't really need to worry about it since you're using two-step authentication with your cell phone. And without your cell phone, they can't gain access to your account because they're not going to get a text and they're not going to be able to enter the 6-digit code and say they're you because they don't have your cell phone. So that's that. Your cell phone is basically your password. After that, you don't have to know any passwords to log in. You don't have to have a list of passwords saved because your password is your cell phone. It's your phone number, and there you go. And that's just one thing I've been thinking about. I mean, I'd mentioned it before. I discussed it before. And it seems to have, rendered them useless. They're unable to affect my account. At least if they are able to, they haven't done anything that makes it obvious that they have been since I started doing this. Now, like I said, I don't know my passwords. I don't want to know them. I don't want to look at them. When I was having the trouble with hacking, I was informing Norton of them getting in my computer, and it didn't matter how many times I changed my password, they were able to get in. So I said that I'm letting them know that they're able to get in my account no matter what. And the problem with that is as you're trying to teletech this, that they're hacking your computer at the time. He says, well, when they've got remote access, they're looking at, well, no one's on your computer. Well, yeah, they're not on the computer now because they know I'm going on it, and they know I'm trying to contact you, so they stopped doing what they were doing and not able to find any problems because they're not using malware. They didn't need to use malware because they were able to illicitly access my computer with a login. So there's no trail because they're logging into your account using your information or your passwords. Now, I'm not the only person that they've done this to get your passwords, and you've had trouble with your devices being hacked. I hear it all the time. And I've seen it a lot with other targeted individuals. That's why I'm talking about this right now, to maybe help some of you that are having a recurring issue with these people. Yeah, no, that's something else. I don't use WhatsApp. I'm not about to use WhatsApp. There's so many loopholes in that for hackers. That and Discord is the same way. That's another platform they're able to, that hackers use to get access to your stuff. I don't use Discord anymore. I used to get on Discord, but I don't quite even at all. But WhatsApp is an absolute no-no. You might as well uninstall that. But and another issue that you might be having is with your Facebook. If you use Facebook, you want to go on Facebook, you log in, you have to enter your password or whatever. Well, what you can do is, after an amount of time, you can click the section where it says where it keeps you logged in on your device, on the device you're using, and you don't ever have to use your password again. Now you can still use the process I explained to you with, with the copying pasting of the password, but and let Google log you in. But you can also just, have it remember you, and just it'll log in you automatically, and you don't even have to enter your password anymore. But that can help you, maintain your accounts or whatever you might be having an issue with hackers on. Also, I've had an issue 3 times now with the gang stalkers changing my address information for my SoCal Edison account. They would. It's not likely that they're calling them. They're using the online portal and going in and changing my address. They changed it to paperless billing once, and I wasn't getting any mail and I wasn't getting a letter. So I called them and I had them, I said I want it to come directly to my, physical address, to my home address. And they fixed that. And I got the mail for like a month. Like, I think I got 1 or 2 bills. And then I wasn't getting a bill again for a couple months. So I called back, and this time they said, well, it had been changed to a post office box that I hadn't had for a couple years, 2 or 3 years. I said, no, I didn't do that. I didn't want it changed. I want it coming to my address. I want a physical bill coming to my address. So they fixed that, and I got it a couple more months. And then it happened again, but this time they changed it back to paperless billing, and I wasn't getting a letter. I wasn't getting a bill anymore. So this time I asked to speak to a supervisor, and I was talking to someone in charge, and I said, look, I'm never going to access your online portal, and I haven't been calling you to change my information. Someone else is doing this. Someone is illegally changing my address information. Well, this is address fraud. That's what it's called. It's fraud. It's federal, and it's federal matter. I looked it up. Minimum penalty is like 5 years in prison if someone is caught doing this to you. And they've done it to me 3 times. So I said, so I'm not accessing your account. I'm not accessing it online. I don't want my information changed. If I want my information changed, I'll be calling you from this phone number and only this phone number. I'm not going to access your portal. I'm not going to log in. I'm not going to change it online. And they don't really have a way that they don't have an avenue that they use to, to keep that as a, like a security issue. So what they recommended that I do is to inform the police that, they're changing my address for me for my bill, and I did that. But what they would do is they'd put a note saying that, I'm not accessing their online web page, and I'm not going to, and that they would only get one, any information that would be changed would come from my phone number. So I've done that. So if you're having an issue, some people may be having an issue like I'm having, where you're not getting bills you're expecting. If you expect a letter to come and you're not getting it, you most likely have these clandestine people, gang stalkers, manipulating your address, which is address fraud. And you can report that to the police, and that if you have an idea who's doing it, which in my case I'm pretty certain who's doing it, I have a very 98% idea who's doing it, and you can put a name to that person, and you can report it. And it's not something that, you know, is gonna get you ignored by saying gang stalking or you know, gang workplace mobbing or anything like that. It's not something that it will equate to gang stalking. It's a different kind of crime altogether. And they won't give you the cold shoulder and ignore you because now you're paranoid because you're talking about this group of scumbags, you know, stalking you. And you can actually do something about it. So that led me to number 3 that I'm going to talk about. As far as reporting issues that have to do with your targeting. I've been to the FBI, I've been to the ICS3 website. I've reported my issues with stalkers and the like. But the very instant that you mention gang stalking or you're targeted, you have just deleted every avenue of investigation in your favor, because they're not the minute you mention that, they're going to just ignore every avenue of your testimonial or whatever. You're not going to get any, you know, any further assistance. And in most cases, they'll just say, okay, we've heard your report, and then thank you, goodbye. We'll look into it. And of course, they're not going to. So what I'm getting at, when you're being gang stalked, and as a target, you know you're being gang stalked. You're not schizophrenic. You're not paranoid. You're not, you know, you're not having issues of a mental problem, which is sometimes the general consensus for laymen or people outside of your experience. If you want to actually have something credible and tangible to present to law enforcement, things that they have to investigate. I mean, regardless of whether you're a target or not, they need to investigate, because they are actually crimes that are prosecutable, not that have an actual, you know, an actual court mandated legal action that can be brought into court, such as things like where they stole my registration, or where they're tampering with your mail, or vandalism, actual, let's say you have a Twitter, right? And you're getting harassed on your Twitter, where they, you know, will actually come to your page and harass you. Things like that. Actual physical trails, like hacking, or creating fake profiles for you, creating fake Facebook pages, things like that you can actually use, that, okay, they're not going to be attributed to gang stalking, but they are attributed to a legal action. Um, now, I've documented evidence. I've documented evidence of B2K. I've documented evidence of remote neural monitoring right here on my page, live and in person, real time. The main problem with that is that there are no legal avenues you can follow towards gang stalking. That's the problem. Gang stalking is not something that they have on the books that they can prosecute for. It's not like regular stalking where you got people looking in your, assaulting you or following you down the street, where you can actually have evidence and where someone accosts you or whatever like that. They do everything in such a way that there is not really a tangible trail for you to present in a case should you try to have one. So at least those are just three things that should you have issue being a target. Physical evidence. You need physical evidence. Okay. One headlight cars is not evidence. Helicopters flying over your house is not evidence. Having pictures of people walking down the street or video of people walking down the street with Target bags. Those aren't evidence. That's you're not going to be able to bring that into a courtroom and say, okay, see, that's a stalker. This guy's got a Target bag and he is again, or there's 51 headlight cars, or there's 50 red cars. Those are not evidence. Granted, yeah, you know that you're being stalked and you know that it's part of it, but it's not tangible, credible evidence. It's not evidence. I'm just telling you. You're not going to get anything accomplished documenting one headlight perps or red cars or people wearing red shirts or blue shirts or helicopters flying over your house. You're not going to get anything like. You're not going to get any kind of assistance. Nothing is going to result from that. I'm not demeaning that as, I mean, document it all you want. I understand you want to document that, but from a legal standpoint, you are not going to get any assistance. It's not going to be seen as perpetration. It's not going to be seen as stalking. If anything, it's going to make you look a little wacky. Gonna make you look like just what they're trying to say is that you're schizo and paranoid. So don't do it for your sake as a target. You have to have credible evidence. Like if someone is assaulting you, like in my case, where I reported my next door neighbor for assaulting me with a hatchet, that's credible evidence. Where you have people doing indirect conversation and you record it on your cell phone, that's not going to be evidence. I mean, it's not somebody in your face trying to shove, a weapon in your face or being in your face. If you have somebody breaking in your house or you have somebody vandalizing your house, that's evidence. All I'm trying to say is document that all you want, right? Document Document the one headlight perps, the following you, blah blah blah, all that, the helicopters, the things like that. Document it all you want, but don't expect law enforcement to perceive that as stalking. Granted, showing it on YouTube, I understand you want to have a you want to have some content, you want to do something, but it's I'm not trying to I'm not trying to deter you from documenting evidence. I mean, writing things down and videoing people and everything that's happening to you. I'm not trying to deter you from that. But random people on the street, cars driving around, uh, people with their doors open, you're not going to get anywhere from a legal standpoint with that as evidence, if you understand what I'm getting at. You have to have actual things like where they steal your license plate or your registration, or they cause vandalism to your home or your car, or they assault you verbally, physically, tamper with your mail, tamper with your garbage, things like that, burn your fence. Some things are evidence, right? Evidence, physical, legitimate evidence. All I'm saying is, as a targeted individual, to help the community of targeted individuals to appear credible with this group of scumbags, clandestine, Freemason, whatever you want to call them, CIA, whoever you think it is, CIA, FBI, government, military, whatever. That's all speculation. But a physical person, a physical group, no matter what name you put on them, is evidence. Speculation is not evidence. Because you're driving around and you see 50 white cars or you see 50 cars with headlights out. That's not evidence. That's speculation, and it looks like paranoia. Regardless, I'm not trying to not trying to say it isn't what it is, but from a legal standpoint, it looks like paranoia, schizophrenia, or just reaching. You have to have something they can do. I mean, what are they going to do with 50 people that have one headlight out? They're going to give them a headlight ticket at the most. They're not going to say, okay, all you 50 people are gang stalkers. They're not going to say it. Law enforcement is not going to say it. No matter how many cars you find with a one headlight, or how many white cars or red cars or helicopters flying over your house. It's not going to help your case. If anything, it's going to hinder your case. It's going to make you look like a fucking nut. That's all I'm trying to say. That's why I don't document them. That's why I don't sit outside my house filming cars going by, or the noise campaigns. We all know that they use fireworks. We all know they have the EMTs driving by, beeping their sirens for just a short amount of time in front of your residence. We all know that as targets. We all know that. We all know that they fly their helicopters in circles over our houses. We all know that, right? We all know that. But that's just the thing. Those are everyday random events. People walking down the street, looking at you. Random everyday events. People with Target bags. People saying shit that sounds like they're talking about you. Random events that you can't attribute to any kind of tangible evidence. That's all I'm trying to say. But if you got people fucking with your mail, fucking with your car, fucking with your house, fucking with your wife, assaulting you, uh, slandering your name online, coming into your Twitter or Facebook or whatever avenue you use, that's evidence. Tangible evidence. That being said, I'm going to end this little short live. That was all I wanted to say. So for all you other targeted individuals, yeah, keep documenting your stuff. Write it down, film it, but when it comes right down to it, gather tangible evidence. Real evidence. Have a nice night. Thank you.